Welcome back, everyone. So we've been talking about the decision of President Muhammadu Buhari. He made that pronouncement yesterday, and he's asked that that pronouncement be gazetted so it becomes a proper law in Nigeria. You know how these things work. So we've been talking with Chief Wale Osun. He's a NADECO leader, in fact, an acting Secretary General of NADECO, a group which fought for the Nigeria's democracy during the early 1990s up until we got democracy in 1999. And the son of one of those who have been honored by the president, Mr. Muhammad Fawayemi, son of the late Chief Gani Fawayemi, the senior advocate of the masses. Thank you so much, Mr. Fawayemi, for your time on the program. Because a lot of people are asking right now, because you're a lawyer, and the question I wanted to ask you is the legality surrounding the decision of the president. Is it right?
Absolutely right. This was what Obasanjo should have done in 1999 when everybody went to beg him. After Ferry begged him, notable politicians went to beg him. He said, no, Nalai, it's not going to happen. So that was when we understood that Obasanjo hated Abiola, not just from secondary school, but even into the grave.
Those are very strong ones there,
Yes,
Mr. Fawayemi. But legally speaking, you think that the president made the right move? Because if you look at the debate on the floor of the House, is it right legally? Is it in the right path, legally speaking?
Well, it's the right path because you see, there's no basis for May 29 existing. This was just something, just like Hafsat said, that came out of the head of General Obasanjo, President Obasanjo, when he was elected president. And this was an arrangement which involved him, Abdulsalami, and Ibrahim Babangida. So they decided that June 12 would die a natural death, but they were shocked. We continue to agitate, and happily 25 years on, I'm happy Mr. Daddy Wale is there with you. We have achieved our aim. He's now listening to the people.
All right. Mr. Muhammad Fawayemi, it's a pleasure talking to you, and I must say congratulations. Perhaps we will see you on June 12th when I think the government will do the honors of making it physical, the honors, the national honors to your late father and the others. Thank you so much, Mr. Fawayemi. Let's continue with the conversation with you, Chief Wale Osun. A lot of people were said to have started the battle with you at a time, but some of them will understand that they sold out. True of us?
Well, I think let's be charitable here. When you are in a struggle that is drawn out, it is possible that some people may get tired, may see the need to change their views. But you see, I want to be charitable and say that I will not use the word sold out, unless, of course, they went back to collaborate with the military junta under Babangida in support of the annulment. There could be some. I mean, you yourself will recall that at the early stages of the annulment, there was a set of meetings held in Ota, hosted by Obasanjo. And then suddenly there was a change. And the next we had was that he was the one now guiding the military president at that time on how to have an interim government. So that you can call a sellout, because at the beginning, it was like, okay, let's all rally together and make sure that June 12 becomes a reality. So you could have a few instances like that.
Okay.
But I need to emphasize that when you have a long struggle, there are instances when circumstances will change. Some people, like Balarabe Musa, who started the struggle with us, later there were issues like, oh, it is tribalized, it's become a Yoruba thing.
Did he break your heart because you were in prison?
Of course,
and you're hearing from behind the bars that some people left the struggle.
That would ordinarily destabilize you, give you a sinking feeling. When you have instances where people that you started together, you now had information categorically stating that they are now in support of the annulment. Of course, reasons will be profiled.
Do you see this decision of President Buhari as political?
Well, there is nothing in governance that is not political. Government, when you say governance, decision makings, policies, certainly they will be political. And in this, there may be political collateral. So we cannot run away from it. But then taking that decision, for me, this is a decision for which letters have been written for every year in the last 20 years, or 19, 20 years of this civil administration, to the incumbent head of state to appeal that this recognition must be given every year. So when you have a situation like this and somebody now decided to take that decision, what you have asked for every year for 19, 20 years, then even if it has political significance, you want to say that this is what we've been asking for.
But do you think this will better perhaps the chances of President Buhari if he gets the ticket of his party?
Well, if he does, that's why I speak about political collateral. It could be there. But then I need to say this, that these appeals across the whole country, but there are other issues that are left hanging.
Which are what?
Well,
we need to close now.
So like, for instance, like the ongoing discussions on restructuring. Now, the issues that relate to the hanging, I would say hanging really, regarding the killings across the country, that no definite and firm solution has been found for. So all those could still be drawbacks. Certainly there will be drawbacks, unless they are also addressed with the same determination.
Chief Wale Osun, let's close the program now, but in 30 seconds.
Yes.
What would you say perhaps would be an icing on the cake with what the president has done? Democratically speaking, of course, for those of you who fought for Nigerian democracy, if he does right now.
I will say this, that his party has agreed that there is a need to look at the constitution, to restructure, and the president should buy into that and start the process immediately.
Chief Wale Osun, it's a pleasure talking to you and reminiscing on some of those struggles and some of the times you spent behind bars for the democracy of Nigeria. Congratulations to you once again. He's one of those who fought for Nigeria's democracy, a chieftain of NADECO. We will see more of them in the coming days. We promise you on Channels Television. But that's how far we can go tonight, everyone. Many thanks for being part of the show. That's our show for tonight. I'm Sean Kimale. Bye-bye.